Arianne here from the Movement Paradigm. Today I'm going to talk about how to assess your footwear. So I am a master instructor for the Evidence-Based Fitness Academy under Dr. Emily Splickle, and one of the things that we speak about is how to choose the right footwear for you. So before I get into how to assess your shoe, I want to just talk about some fundamental concepts that you want to think about before choosing a shoe. So the first thing is understanding your foot type. So we have two classic foot types. That one is considered an inverted foot type, which you might think of as a high arched foot type. And we want to think of that as rigid, locked, stable, doesn't really move as well. And then we have what we call an everted foot type, which you might refer to as more of a flatter foot. Think of it as a very hypermobile foot, unstable, unlocked. So those are kind of some of the things that we associate each one of those foot types with. And then of course there's a neutral foot type. So with either of those foot types, we're trying to bring someone back to neutral or to balance so that they can interact with the ground as efficiently as possible. So the shoe, whatever shoe you choose, should enhance your natural foot function, not replace it. So as we get into the shoe analysis, I'd like you to grab your own shoe so you can evaluate it with me. And we'll go through each component of the shoe and potentially why this might be helpful or not helpful for someone. So the first thing that we're going to look at is the heel to toe drop. Okay, so you can see on this shoe, this was my old shoe, I call it my foot coffin. So you can see from here, it's about a 14 millimeter drop from here to here. So this is as if I was wearing a high heel. So it's pitching me forward, okay? So it's throwing my whole center of gravity off, my posture, my alignment. In addition to that, it is locking my foot in a rigid lever. So it's making it, it's locking my foot. So it's making it more difficult for me to load the ground. So every time we load the ground, we have to evert the foot. So if we look at the foot here, we have to load it this way, okay? So this could be appropriate for someone that has a Achilles tendonitis or tendinopathy, because we want to give the Achilles some rest. But other than that, it is not very helpful to have this high of a heel to toe drop. The second thing we'll look at is the amount of cushion that the shoe has, okay? So right through here. So when we have a high amount of cushion, like this shoe, as compared to this minimalist shoe, okay, so which we have no cushion, what you can see is that the more cushion that we have, we are not able to sense the ground. So it's not accurate information, and the information coming into our nervous system is delayed. So that means that we are going to strike the ground harder. So that actually increases impact forces, because we're going to strike the ground harder because we can't sense it. So for most people, this is not appropriate on a day-to-day basis. However, there are people that are definitely candidates for this. For example, let's say that you are a cashier and you're standing all day for your job, or a personal trainer or a physical therapist. Cushion can be very, very helpful, because as we're standing all day, we're loading forces. So it can be very helpful for that. If you're running outside on concrete or asphalt, that can also be helpful, because those surfaces don't vibrate. So sometimes we have to use the shoe to help absorb some of that vibration, so that it doesn't go to other areas of the body. Okay. The next thing that we'll look at is the torsion of the shoe. So you want to be able to grab the shoe and twist it like this, okay? So if you feel like you are not able to twist it or wring it out, then that is blocking the spiraling that's supposed to happen in your foot as well as the rest of your body. The next thing is looking at the forefoot here, okay? So if you look at this, okay? So this shoe is not the shape of the actual foot, okay? So where if you look at this shoe, it is. So you can kind of see the difference here, okay? So see how this is a point, this is rounded, okay? So when we're walking or running, we have to be able to go onto our toes, and it becomes this rigid lever to be able to push off of. That's really, really important because that's what actually doubles our energy and creates this elasticity every time we strike the ground. So our toes should splay, for females 3 millimeters, for males 5 millimeters, every time we strike the ground. So in something like this, we're not able to do that. We're not able to splay and create that rigid lever to double our energy there, okay? So the next thing is going along with that is the midsole. So we want to be able to push off, okay? So if you look here, we want to be able to push off, again, kind of for the same reasons I just explained, is it's really important for us to be able to do that to have efficient gait and movement efficiency. Now, for somebody that had some type of forefoot pathology, let's say a neuroma, let's say a first toe arthritis or pain, that could be appropriate to have this stiffer midsole because you block that motion, so you don't have to repetitively create stress on that area. So that definitely could be helpful, okay? So, all right, so then the last thing is we have the heel counter here. So the heel counter, we want this to be, this could be either a stiff heel counter, so you could give it a squeeze, okay, see if it's stiff, or is it flexible, okay? For somebody with a more unstable foot type, then the stiffer heel counter can be very helpful because that's what's going to help control that motion a little bit more. Versus something that is more flexible, that would be for somebody with a more rigid foot type. They, if they have good function or good control in their foot, then you want to be able to have this should be flexible so that they can move through that full range as they strike the ground. All right, so as you can see, there are a lot of features of the shoe, and it is important for every person to choose the right shoe for them. So just because your neighbor got a certain shoe and said they loved it, does not mean that that's for you. Especially if you have a history of inflammation and a strong injury history, not necessarily just related to your feet. It could be your hips, back, knees, etc. You want to factor all of these things in. So not everybody should be wearing this shoe. Not everyone should be wearing this shoe, but we could find ways and features of each shoe that could be appropriate for each person. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me, of course. There will be a course coming up soon, a date to be determined, and also check out ABFA Education. We have courses all over the country, all over the world. So I hope this helps. Thank you so much. Have a great day.